What?
Bill lodged at 6A where Hilda lived with her mother. So Hilda's parents, I noticed, had lodgers on the census in the house.
Oh, not years, the very old census.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So when
Yes,
you put
when,
here, they
when
worked
Dad came back from the war, Uncle Charlie was already living with Mum
Right.
because Uncle Sam was his friend, and he'd had a rough time with the old Uncle Ted.
Right.
Granny Bradshaw said, "You come and live with us,"
Ah, right.
which was nice.
Right. So Harold Price of Frankwell.
What?
Who Harold Price of Frankwell?
Sorry.
Harold Price.
Harold Price of Frankwell. You've got here, Dad worked for Harold Price of Frankwell.
That's right, yeah, he was a builder.
Ah, right, okay.
He worked there from the time he was an apprentice.
Oh, you slipping down a bit, are you?
I got an itchy leg.
Oh, awkward, yes.
I'm just whizzing through these bits that are filled in, so...
Sure you don't want the light on?
No, I'm all right, I can see it. When I get like this.
I will put it on. Okay? I know if we don't look at the flashing bit, it won't matter, will it?
So, we've lived in the bungalow in the village of Pulverbatch since 1990, with views over the open countryside towards Shropshire.
Yes.
Which is what we were just saying, which is lovely.
Yeah.
For a period of time.
Yeah. I've forgotten what all the questions were.
What was your address, Fairways? Did you have other family members living by? Sister lived in Shrewsbury, my brother?
You what?
I said my brother lived in Oswestry. No, you've answered that one. Who were your friends near where you lived? I think it must just take a while for those to warm
It's
up.
not very bright, is it? But it's there.
That
And
one's
many
gone
good
altogether now.
friends.
Yes.
Weil Cop School, aged 4 to 7. The convent school.
Yeah.
Did you get your knuckles wrapped if you
I
didn't?
went to the convent because the Wild Cop School, which was at the top of Wild Cop, obviously, Barbara and Gerald both went there.
Right.
And from there they went on to Monkmoor School. But when I was little, 6, when the war started,
Yeah.
Wild Cop was taken over by the army for conscription.
Oh.
So half the children were sent to St George's School, and the rest of us were sent to Program School. But I didn't seem to know anybody else.
Hello.
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 Hello. My stuff out there.
Oh, right.
All right. It's okay. Don't worry.
Stuff.
Man's doing some work. Where'd I got to? Oh yes. So I was knocked over 3 times at Colham School in the first week. So I refused to go.
Oh.
Oh.
A very stubborn
What,
child.
knocked over on purpose?
Yeah, because I was little and because I came from another
Oh.
school and I knew somebody in later life who was actually coming to here, this home this week, and they decided that they were going to knock over all these strange children,
Yeah.
and the smaller the better.
So
So
the-
I completely refused to go to school.
Oh.
I just stood outside the front door and Gerald went in and said, "Mum, Thelma won't go to school."
What age would you be now?
6,
6. Oh.
coming up to 7.
Oh.
And anyway, Dad so happened he was working at the convent school at the time, so he got me a place there.
Oh, right.
A private education,
Very
2
nice.
shillings a week.
Did they get a discount because he was working there?
He was working there
Mm.
for Harold Price,
Yes.
and yeah, so
Yeah.
I was quite lucky in that way. And then I took the exam to go to the Priory when I was 10.
So when you were at school in the convent,
Yeah.
did you make many friends there?
Oh, you all just all joined in together, didn't
Yeah.
you? Yeah.
Can you remember any of the antics you used to get up to?
No.
Are you not telling us because the?
No, I don't remember because,
No.
I mean, the thing was, from 9 o'clock till 10 o'clock, they used to have their catechism, the Roman Catholics did,
Yes.
and we children were more or less allowed to get on our own for an
Oh,
hour.
really?
But I remember having to make cocoa for the whole school, or fetch the cocoa.
Yes.
But,
Yeah. So then you, at 10, you said you got
I got quite,
scholarship.
No, didn't get a
No.
scholarship. I wasn't bright enough. Barbara got a scholarship
Oh,
to the Priory, but no, I qualified. And in those days, if you qualified, your parents had to pay a certain amount, which was a lot for them, £12 a term. And then I took the exam again from the Priory, and I got through properly then,
right.
when I was 11. So
Oh.
I was at the Priory till 1949.
So throughout the war, you were
At the Priory.
at the Priory.
Yeah.
So what? Obviously, Shrewsbury's a long way from the big cities, so probably didn't have air raids in
Didn't know what?
air raids in Shrewsbury, did you?
Didn't know what?
Air raids, people bombing.
Oh no, we could
No.
hear them going over.
You could hear them going over. Yeah.
Because they'd follow the 7
Mhm.
up to Liverpool.
Yes. Oh, of course.
That's what they used to do. And I could remember hearing them, and I go downstairs and say, Mum, the Jerrys are going over again. It was called the Jerrys.
So when you were in school, did you have to do drills with gas masks and that
Yeah,
type
we
of
did,
thing?
yeah.
Yeah.
But it was ever so silly because at the convent they hadn't got any air raid shelters.
Right.
So we just used to go from the school into another room.
Yeah.
What good that would have done if they dropped a bomb on you? Anyway, I don't know.
Maybe it had a better roof. I don't know. But,
Could have been.
yeah.
Daft. It's daft.
So
Could have been. So there's a lot in here about school actually that Stephen filled in for you,
No.
about your favourite teachers and who were your friends.
oh, who were the favourite teachers then?
Miss Thorne at primary.
Now the funny thing is, Miss Thorne, at our church at Pulverbach, our organist is called Kate Thorne,
Mm-hmm.
and her husband is one of our sidesmen. And I discovered not only at the end of last year that our Miss Thorne from school was his auntie.
Wow.
It only came off accidentally because she used to talk about her brother keeping bees. And I said to John one day, I know we're talking about bees, and I said, our teacher at school said her brother kept bees. He said, that was my dad. It's a small world, isn't it?
Oh, well, it certainly is around Shrewsbury. Anybody who's lived in and around Shrewsbury all their lives, always bumping into each other because Dad was forever saying, "Did you know so and so was related to so and so?" And he'd say all these names, and I wouldn't have a clue, obviously. But interesting. So who else have we got in there?
We've got in here Miss Quillish, is that her name?
Yeah,
Latin?
she was one of my favourite teachers.
What school
And
was
Miss
that
Williams,
That was a
music.
Priory.
at? Priory.
She was my form mistress for a while when I was going up to school, you know. But she taught Latin.
Thank you. That's not
I
an
was
easy
in the A
subject.
stream,
Oh.
which upset me because I'd like to be in the B stream because they learned cookery and sewing. I didn't want to learn Latin.
Well, who does want to learn Latin? It's not a language you can wander along
Well, it isn't,
to another
is it?
country, I know, and go somewhere where they
only
speak
time,
Latin.
the only time Latin came in useful, I went with my friend Sheila to Italy, and there was a big poster up about something, and I read this poster, and she said, "I didn't know you understood Italian." I said, "No, but I did Latin at school."
Yes. Related.
So
Yeah.
I was quite amazed, really, that I could understand it.
How many years did you do Latin then? Do you think?
4,
4.
yeah.
I was going to ask you to recite some now.
I couldn't possibly.
I did Latin for 1 year
Did you?
because I failed my 11 plus and went to the secondary modern.
Yeah,
But then I got promoted to the grammar school, the high school,
yeah,
at the end of the first year. So I was a year behind in Latin.
yeah.
So you imagine going straight into year 2 Latin without having done year 1?
Yeah.
No chance. So the only thing I remember is amoa masamat, amama samata samant.
Well done, you.
Yeah, there we go. Do you know what that means?
It's-
No, I didn't do Latin. I did
It's just
useful languages like French and German.
I am, you are, we
right.
are. It's the usual thing.
Just the
My
words.
dad said, I don't know why they're teaching you Latin. He said, completely useless.
Well, I guess if you went into medicine or the law or horticulture, yeah, there's
It's the basis of all languages,
Yes,
and
yeah.
all the European languages anyway.
absolutely. What else interesting have we got in there?
What
then?
else? Oh, you want me to go through it? Or
Yeah.
I was looking for the bits that we said we didn't need to fill in, but
Well, we'll do that as well.
friends at
He's
school.
done quite a lot.
Jean Thomas started work at the post office apparently with Jean. Audrey Green had a beautiful soprano voice, is put on here.
Well, Audrey found out about Audrey because her next door neighbour went to the same came to our church,
Mhm.
and she and Mum used to go to. They used to have a sewing evening.
This wasn't.
And
Sorry.
this is his name I've forgotten, but she said this girl had been asked to sing at a concert, but she didn't know who to get to play for her.
Mm.
So they knew I could play the piano, so that's how we started off.
Ah.
And we used to do lots of local concerts after that.
So what age would Audrey be?
She was younger than me.
Younger than you.
Hello.
Oh, hello. Hello. Ah. Oh, the password. Oh, fantastic.
The wonderful
So I'll
password.
just-
We
so
should
I'll
be able to
just-
get Downton Abbey
I'll
back
go
for
round
you.
the room selling this at about £10 a time.
Oh, I'll go higher. I'll go higher. If you're going to do it, go higher.
Well, thank you very much. I appreciate that. We'll.
Can't have people without having telly.
No.
It's all right swapping internet over, but they missed everybody off
That's
putting it
the
on
telly.
Well, the
That's
trouble
the
is,
telly.
Yeah, I'll set that
I'll
up.
set that
So
up.
you'll have Downton Abbey back.
And the bulb's gone in now.
Yeah.
I'll get maintenance, come and change a bulb.
Who would do that?
Mark. I shall go and find him and go
Okay.
like
I've
that
been.
bit.
Yeah.
Thank
Probably
you.
do with a 1,000-watt bulb, I think. Then.
I don't know whether it's a single bulb or whether it looks like it's two
There's
bulbs.
2 or 3 in there.
Yeah.
There's two in that one, but it's still not.
It
very
was
good,
flashing to start off with, but now I think it's given up the ghost.
Yes, it was
Yeah.
flashing. Then went. "Ugh."
I shall get him to
I know how it feels.
Yeah, me as well. Oh, me as well.
Thank
I
you
shall
very
go
much.
find him. You're
Appreciate
welcome.
that. Right, where were we?
So, lots on here about
Oh,
music.
I was just going to ask about Audrey because Dad kept going on about a young lady that he.
Oh no, that was another.
That was
different-
another
That was
Audrey.
a different Audrey. It wasn't
No.
my friend Audrey.
Right.
No, that was be Audrey.
Roberts? Or was that what you were saying?
I'll get the name in a
this-
minute.
This one was
But-
Audrey.
He started going out with Audrey, then he met your mum. The trouble was he didn't tell Audrey, didn't finish
Yeah,
with
he's,
Audrey.
he's kind of told us he was a bit of a two-timer.
I know, and this one evening she was with us, and she was ever so innocent, Audrey was, you know. Didn't think that her Gerald could be with anybody else.
Oh dear.
And she sat with us all evening, and Dad was saying, what shall we do? I said, I don't know. I said, I'm younger than them, I don't know what to do. Anyway,
Dear.
I think in the end he did come home and took her home. Audrey Harvey, her name.
Harvey, that was it,
That was
Audrey
it.
Harvey.
They
yes.
lived in a big house along Maltmore Road. Had a lovely big house.
Yeah, well, the year after Mum died, we did a little tour of Shrewsbury in the car, David, Stephen, me and Dad. And he was taking us around all his haunts, his old school and all the rest of
Yeah.
it. And he did point out Audrey Harvey's house, and
Yeah.
so that was the big one there.
That was the big one. That was why he went out with her, because he liked the big house.
He never changed. Yes. Let me shut that door, it's getting a bit noisy.
And Mum knew his dad as well from school days.
Ah, right.
So, and we had a couple of Christmas parties there with them.
That your parents were musical. That you went to youth club and accompanied the tap dancers and the singers, etc., on the piano. I
I should
presume.
know that.
Yes. Music and
Where
dancing.
was the youth club then?
Abbey
I
Con.
think congregational.
At the Abbey Congregational Church, yeah.
Part of the church, yeah.
Yes, there's a big room behind it, several rooms.
Mm.
We used to do all sorts of things. And twice a week we used to go to youth club.
Yeah. And girl guides, according to this, and girl guides, according to this, you went
Yeah,
to.
I gave up Girl Guides when I joined youth club because it was very, very dull. Girl Guides when you're 14
Yes, oh yeah.
and you've got boys at youth club.
Yes, far more interesting.
Sorry, I'm reading this. It's interesting. So, the questions don't make sense, but the essence is: did you like dancing? Where did you go, etc. So you had lessons with George Land at the Sabrina Dance Studio.
Yeah, George Land was Mum's lodger.
Ah.
Have you heard about
Yes, I've heard the name. Yeah, when you said
Yes, he
that.
was. He came to us when I was 7, and he was still there when I was 21.
Really?
Yeah.
14 years a lodger.
Always.
Wow.
He worked at Shawby for a while. He was a watchmaker,
Yeah.
and I don't know why he didn't join up, but it must have been something wrong with him. But yeah, he lived with us all those years.
So this was in Butcher Row.
St Albans
St
Place.
Albans.
St Albans
Place.
yeah.
St Albans Place.
Is Butcher Row just round the corner from St Albans?
Pardon?
Is Butcher Row just round the corner from St Albans?
You know
Place?
Pride Hill,
Yeah,
and you've got Butcher Row
yeah,
into St Albans Place.
right.
Church Street and then St Albans Square.
Yeah. I think I just called it by the wrong name because that's where I used to walk. Yeah, yeah.
The answers were Lessons with George Land at Sabrina Dance Studio, and then it says the Dana, D-A-N-A.
Dana.
Oh, Dana
The Dana.
at Shrewsbury.
What's the Dana?
Is that
Well,
where you went dancing?
you know where the castle is,
Yes.
and there's some steps,
Yep.
which got, those are the Dana steps.
Oh, are they?
And the studio was just at the top on the left-hand
Oh,
side.
so that's the dance studio.
That's dance studio.
Right.
And
then
Mildred
went to-
Courtons it was.
And then went for your Friday nights out at Morris's Ballroom.
Yeah.
Where was Morris's Ballroom then?
Well, you know the top of Pride Hill?
Mm-hmm.
There was a big shop called Morris's.
Oh, right.
And it was a gown shop and a cake shop, a bread shop.
Was that on the left, was it?
On the left when you get up to the top, going towards Salisbury's. That was it probably altered as well by
So
now.
was that before the
But
cinema?
that was where I used to have to go on a Saturday morning to queue for bread
Oh, right.
in the wall. But they had the most marvellous ballroom.
Mm.
Absolutely beautiful.
Yeah.
Super.
So, do you keep in touch with your school friends? Who are your friends outside of school? It's kind of a daft question, really, for that period of life, because your school friends were your friends, weren't
Of course
they?
they were,
Yeah. Hi.
You have
Hi, we've got the machine.
Oh, right.
Sorry.
Fab,
Okay.
we can get you back into your comfy chair.
Right.
Oh, good.
What do we
That's
need to
lovely.
move out of the way?
Us.
And the bed tonight.
So move that over there.
Here's my step up.
Get this out of here.
Yeah.
I'm going to move
They're
myself
very good, these step ups are.
Right.
out the way as well.
Okay. I think you've got
A step up.
the room. We'll get out of the way.
Favourite sport.
What age did you start playing golf?
Did I stop?
Start.
Well, Stan was already playing because he'd been playing for years.
Right. When you got together.
And then when we were on holiday and he wanted to play golf and I just walked around with him. And he said one day, well, why don't you join the club and have some lessons? So that was about 65.
Yeah.
And I started playing golf. And I got a membership at Shrewsbury, so.
So did you ever get to the point where you beat him without a handicap or not?
Never thought about it. We just played, you know.
You just played for enjoyment.
See, that's you.
And I'd
You
claim
counted that.
shots. I'd say, have a shot on this hole.
Yeah.
If it was a par 5 or something like that, you
Oh
know.
yeah. I would have said 2. Yes. It was a nice course, Shrewsbury, though, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. So when did you start playing with Rose then? Was that through the club?
At Meal Brace before we moved to Condover anyway.
Oh, of course, because Meal.
We
Yes.
were at Meal before the road went through it.
Yes.
And then it was taken over by the council.
Turned into a
So we
museum.
moved down to Condover.
Presumably Condover had been around for a long time, hadn't it?
Condover was a farm.
Right.
It was a terrible old farm, and then we took over the farmhouse and gradually extended
Oh,
it.
so it was a brand new course, Condover, when Shrewsbury.
It was just farmland.
Oh, right.
And when we first went there, we used to have to take out a little bucket with us to pick up the stones.
I bet.
Oh, it was terrible, ever so stony. But it eventually became all right. Took a few years.
Yes. What are you looking at there?
I'm just looking at when Stephen was saying there's a lot to be filled out. Some of this can't be filled out by us because.
You what? Sorry.
Rob was asking me what I was looking at here
Yeah.
because Stephen has said he filled out some of this stuff with you and there was still some to go through. But there are specific forms here that David would have to go through with you
Yeah.
because he's got power of attorney for you, hasn't
That's
he?
right.
There are specific questions about what you want things, the way you want things done in here, and
The way I want what?
the way you want things done in here, how you want to be looked after, etc.,
I have not
etc.
as far as that.
No, well that's what I'm saying. Because David
Yeah.
legally does that stuff for you,
Yeah.
David would have to be the one.
Yeah, it's the family history
To
stuff
do this
we're
one.
Yeah.
working on.
Yeah.
So are there any more family history questions?
So that's an inventory of belongings, which somebody needs to do at some point. Of what's yours that's in the room.
When's Stephen coming? No, not Stephen, yours this
David's coming Saturday.
Saturday.
So today's Thursday.
Yeah,
So I don't know. Stephen and Judith might pop in tomorrow. I don't know.
probably. He pops in quite a lot.
Yeah.
Some of this is repetitive, so I don't know. There's the bit on. There's only a little bit left on the end here, I think, which you probably like me. Who's your favourite artist or band? And you probably like me. You go, oh, I like loads.
Oh, no.
Do you have a favourite?
You don't
No,
have a
'cause you-
favourite band, do you?
No.
Do you have? Well, I do. Do you have a favourite composer then?
Beethoven.
Beethoven.
I'm just going to write on there.
Did you used to enjoy? That must have been very lively if you
Yeah.
did Beethoven on the piano.
Yeah, well, it's sort of orchestras more than anything,
Yeah.
rather than bands.
Mm. And a
I used
favourite.
to like Joe Loss,
I remember the Joe Loss Band.
and
I used to
also,
watch those when I was a
it
kid.
sounds funny, there was one called, who was this strict tempo dancing? I've forgotten his name. But he was always very strict tempo. And we went to, on one New Year's Eve, a gang of us went out to Trentham Gardens. We thought, this is going to be a bit dull with this band. Come midnight, they altered completely.
Mm.
They were fantastic. We really enjoyed it.
It's
So we were there till 2 o'clock.
quite a trip to Trentham Gardens, isn't it? Because it's near Stoke-on-Trent.
Yeah,
Mm.
Yeah, we've got friends who live just around the corner from from Trentham.
from
Gardens.
Trentham. Yeah,
Yeah, it's a nice place to walk in the day.
Yeah.
yeah.
So, did you ever hear your dad play in the elite dance band?
Not yet, no.
No.
Is it all finished? It finished, it was still playing when I was born,
Mhm.
because Barbara told me that when I was, the day after I was born, because in the old houses we had little fireplaces, and Barbara was colouring in her Christmas present colouring book,
Yes.
sitting by the fire, and I was in bed with Mum as a day-old baby. Auntie Kit was with us looking after us, and Dad was playing out at a dance somewhere, you know.
Mm.
I don't know where. But he used to do a lot of these hunt balls.
Mm.
You know, they used to be very posh in those
Yes.
days.
Yeah.
They used to have the elite dance band. You've got a photograph of that?
I have. Yes.
Yeah.
They looked very much of that era. Well, obviously
Very
they
smart,
were.
they were.
Yes, very smart.
Oh. Dad used to, because they were nearly all carpenters,
Mm.
and
Oh,
Dad would
right.
examine all their hands before they went out to make sure they were clean. He was very fussy, Dad was.
Yes. So was he the dance band leader then?
Yeah.
He was in charge, I see.
Mm.
And obviously he played the saxophone, the violin, and the piano. Which
He
one?
didn't play piano.
He didn't play piano much. Okay.
He taught how to walk the banjo.
Yeah.
He taught Uncle Charlie the sousaphone.
I didn't know he played those as well. Oh.
Well, I think probably if you can play one brass instrument really well, then you can.
You can play
Generally
others,
pick
yeah,
up.
you can.
Can't
Yeah,
you?
but
His basic instrument was the violin, though.
the mouthing on the sax to the sousaphone.
He was good on the
completely
sax,
different.
yeah.
Yeah.
And then during the war, we used to do concerts at the convent school
Mm.
for the nuns.
As a family.
Well, we used to be, first of all, was Barbara and Dad,
Yeah.
until I was old enough to accompany him, because Barbara got fed up with it. She said he used to tell her off too much. So then I took over from then.
I bet he didn't tell you off. You must have been his favourite.
Well, don't know.
The
I
youngest.
just did it. I didn't think about it.
Mhm.
I go to church.
Church of England, of course.
See me. Used to be St Albans at first, because I was a Sunday school teacher at St Albans.
Oh, were you?
Mm.
I didn't know that. How many years did you do that?
Oh, only a couple.
Yeah.
I was in my middle teens, about 17, and when I decided to give up, it was quite funny. We were waiting to get in, and somebody would come and unlock the door for us to go into church. And I said to the little ones, because I used to take the little ones, I said, "This is my last Sunday." She said, "Oh, Miss Thomas, you're not leaving us?" I said, "Yes." "Oh, don't go, because you shout at us." I thought
They
that was
obviously liked it. It was good shouting.
funny. Our children funny.
So I'm curious to become a Sunday school teacher, because when I did Sunday school, it was always with the vicar.
Well,
How did you know what to teach them? Did the vicar give you
Well,
a framework?
we had another man called Jack Stockdale, who was the church warden,
Yeah.
and he took the main lot. He took the whole, we'd had a whole service, then we just split up into two groups, the older ones and the little ones. And I just decided to tell them stories about the Bible, that was all.
So it was pick a story in the Bible, go through it and
That's right, yeah.
explain the meaning, perhaps.
Yeah, they loved it.
Yeah, yeah. I was trying to remember because certainly Stephen and I used to go to Sunday school in Hadley. So we used to go to the service. I think that was 11 o'clock till about 11:45, and then the children used to stay on for Sunday school,
Yeah.
which was about another 20 minutes.
Yeah.
And the thing that most sticks in my mind wasn't necessarily the Sunday school itself, but standing outside the church waiting for Dad to come and pick us up.
Yes, it's funny that, because when we used to go down to the farm at Oxon, at Bixton Heath, and we used to go to Oxon Church,
Oh, right.
but children weren't allowed to stay in for the sermon.
Oh.
So we used to come out for the sermon and then go home. But this one Sunday, I left my prayer book in church, and it was Mum's prayer book that she'd let me have. I was in trouble, so we had to wait outside church for ages till this service had finished.
Oh no.
I was in trouble with Barbara for that.
So when you used to go up Oxon, was Uncle Bill still working on the farm then?
Yeah, he was the they don't call them managers, what they call them, bailiffs.
Oh,
He
right.
was a bailiff there for years and years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So did you used to go up there frequently?
Oh yeah, quite a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because Mummy, I mean, it wasn't far away. It was only a little bus ride, it was only 3 miles away. And Mummy used to go up on a Tuesday and help Auntie Ginny make the butter, which Auntie was selling in the market, I assume. Yeah.
I was going to say it was quite a long walk, but you jumped on the bus.
Yeah. I remember once coming back, Auntie Ginny got quite a big fruit garden, and Brenda and I had been picking gooseberries all day. We're bringing them home for Mum. We were on this bus, and the carrier bag broke.
Oh no.
And the gooseberries all over the bus.
Oh no.
They're quite round gooseberries, aren't they? They roll. Yes. They're not-
Luckily, hardly any people on the bus. So we managed to rescue most of them. Well, Auntie Ginny was Mum's older sister.
Right.
Auntie Kitty was the eldest,
Yep.
and she was the one I was telling you about, Albert,
Yeah.
who was thrown out.
Right. So tell me all about the Albert story then.
Well, I don't know a lot really. It's only because our butcher, called Mrs. Mansfield, who lived in Butcher Row, she had a friend in Belgium who told her that this Albert was already married.
So he had married her.
He'd married somebody in Belgium.
And then he married again.
During the
Yeah.
war, yeah. So then he married Auntie Kitty.
So he was a bigamist
He
potentially.
was big of it, yeah.
Did they ever try and find out, or did you just chuck him out?
I don't really know. I'll have to think about that.
Yeah.
I don't know the surname.
But she was pregnant at the time.
Yeah, with Joan, cousin Joan. Joan, yeah, so, because I used to say to Mum when I was little, why is Joan called Joan Bradshaw?
Yes. Ah.
So,
A bit confusing, wouldn't it? Yes.
when you're about 8 or 9, you know.
So Kitty never married again.
Yeah.
No.
Well, she did, actually. She used to live in an awful place up on St. John's Hill. And she used to do cleaning for people. And she bumped one day into Uncle Bill Ruddick, Uncle Bill Ruddick. And they'd been sweethearts when they were little, when they were young, you
Yes.
know. And he said, how about you, Kitty?
Why not? Yeah.
So they got married. So that was nice.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
How old would she have been then, do you think?
Oh, she was well in her 50s.
So no more children then?
Oh, gosh, no.
No.
Not a lot, really. Uncle Bill lived up in Altrincham, Uncle Bill Bradshaw,
Mm-hmm.
and Uncle Sam lived in Shrewsbury, in Abbott Road. He was married to Auntie Alice, and they had, how many children did they have? Ron, Ken, Pat, Audrey, and they had a gap. There was Graham, Rosemary and Wendy. They had 7 children.
Wow. And your memory to memorise all their names. Cool, blimey.
Well, yeah.
That's
Well,
amazing.
Wendy, I know Wendy quite well because she used to play golf.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, she took it up. Yeah.
What did she do for a living then?
And her husband, John, what was her surname? He was the manager at Vincent Greenhouse.
All right.
Yeah, John. A nice lad, John was. But Audrey was a bit of a, not Audrey. Yeah, Audrey went to live in Liverpool, and I never knew her family. But I only met her sons. They were big Southern boys, and they came to one of the Ken's, Ron's funeral they came to,
Yes.
which was at the Lion Hotel. It was quite sad that because at the funeral, poor Ken, the next to eldest, he passed away. Well, he didn't die exactly there, but they had to take him to hospital and he died.
Oh my goodness.
That was not very good.
Dangerous things, funerals. Yes.
Yeah, not very good at all. That. There we are.
On a happier subject then, tell me about when you became Lady Captain.
When I became Lady Captain.
Mm.
Why?
Well, I'm interested. So, how long were you a member, and
Well,
what was the process?
Stan and I, we both joined in. We were married in '63.
Mm-hmm.
Stan joined Shrewsbury in '64, and I joined Shrewsbury in '65, and I became Ladies Captain in '84.
Oh right, so a long, good 20-year.
Yeah. So I went on committee, and then I just thought Rosie was. I was a vice captain to Rosie Sixsmith.
Oh right.
You knew Rosie?
Yes, yeah.
Of course you knew.
Of course I did. Yes.
Daft thing.
Yes.
Daft thing to say. Yeah.
And
What happened to poor Carol? She got cancer, didn't she?
I'm afraid she did.
That was
It's about 10 years ago now. It's a good few years.
I know, because you used to go up to see her, didn't you? In Scotland.
No, I didn't.
Oh,
no,
it was Rose.
Rose did.
It was Rose who went to see her in Scotland.
When Nadine and I got married, within 2 or 3 months of us getting together,
Yeah.
Carol and I stopped speaking to each other. Not in a bad way.
No.
We just moved on.
Of course you do.
And
Yeah.
it was only, I think, towards the end where Dad told me that she was not very well
Yeah.
with cancer, and then shortly after I heard that she passed on,
Yeah.
unfortunately. But
Yeah, very sad.
very sad, yes.
Yeah.
It can't have been easy for Rose.
Yeah.
Nobody
A
wants to
funny
lose.
little girl, wasn't she?
Well, I mean, we got on fine. We just weren't compatible to stay married.
Yeah.
But
Because you used to live at up by was it Lansdowne Fry?
well, we lived in a few places. We when we first got married, we lived at Castle Crinan,
Castleman.
which is just the other side of Welshpool.
Yeah.
Then we moved to Gaynes Park, 158 Gaynes Park Avenue.
Yeah.
We lived there for a couple of 3 years, and then we moved down to Cwmbran in South Wales, and that's where.
Was that what to do with work, was it?
Yes, yeah.
Yeah.
I managed a few branches in Cwmbran, and then a couple in Cardiff. And then when I moved to Manchester with work, Carol stayed down there.
Yeah.
And then she must have met somebody, I think it was a chicken farmer or something, and then moved to Scotland. And so after I went to Manchester, I then moved to Birmingham. Lichfield was where we bought our house.
Yeah.
But Nadine and I got together. When I was working in Manchester, she invited me to her leaving do because she was moving from one branch to another. And that's when we got together. So
that was nice.
yeah,
wasn't it?
yeah, very.
Yeah, lovely.
I didn't even know she liked me.
That was really nice.
I liked her, but I was married previously, so I didn't do anything about it. But when we separated, I was able to. So yeah.
Mm.
So was Uncle Stan ever captain?
Uncle Stan?
Mm.
No, he was never on the committee. Because being a rep, he didn't have time.
No.
You know, he just used used to play when he retired.
Mm.
He was on the what do they call the old ones, the retired people. He was on the committee then
Yes.
of that lot, and he was the one who does all the money.
Mm. Treasure.
That's the one.
Yes.
I'm going blank.
No, that's it. I'm
Yeah.
always forgetting words.
Yeah.
Well, I know that you used to get together. I know Dad and one of the boys, Stephen or David, used to come and play, wasn't it? With
That's
you
right,
and
yeah.
Uncle Stan once a year,
Yeah.
at least.
Yes, he used to come to the invitation your dad did to play with Stanley. And I think Stan used to go out to Oswald Street to the invitation.
Yeah, that was nice.
Yeah.
Well, it's a good game to get into, isn't it? Because you can
Well, it is.
play it together.
I used to play with Gerald in the mixed open,
Yes.
and do you remember Anne Dara?
Yes, I do. Yeah.
And I said to her in the cloakroom, I said, Gerald always drives off, the men always drove off the first. I said, so the second shot I take will always be out of the rough. So
Really?
she went and told him.
Oh dear.
Oh sure, he said.
Did he get it on the
Zoom,
fairway?
he went.
Oh no. Well, did Dad used to coach you? Because whenever I played with him,
Yeah.
he'd always go, could I just tell you something, son? And it was, no, I know what I'm doing wrong. I'm lifting my head. I don't need somebody to tell me I'm lifting my head.
He always wanted to put you right. didn't
I
he?
know. And, well, I think the very last time we played, I said, Dad, can I just ask? I want this to be a nice game together. Please don't tell me what I'm doing wrong. I know what I'm doing wrong. I only play twice or three times a year.
Yeah.
So I'm, if I have a good shot, that's a fluke. So but I think we got to the 15th and then he couldn't resist. Can I just tell you something, son? and even if you said no, he'd still tell you. But yeah, I mean, he got down to, I think the lowest he ever got, he was single figures for a bit.
I've 7, wasn't it? Something?
Yeah, which is
Yes,
amazing.
Tom was the same. Simon just got to 9.
Mm.
That's he always thought he'd get lower when he was retired, but he didn't. It's funny that, isn't it?
Well, golf's a funny game, isn't it?
Yeah.
Sometimes the more you play, the worse you get. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's.
Very strange.
If you could add up the best score you had on the first with the best score you ever had on the second, you'd have a really great card, but you can't do 18 in a row.
No, not at all, no.
I wish, yeah.
No.
So, okay, what else then? Obviously, golf played a lot of your time in terms of.
Sorry, you.
Golf was something you did together.
Yeah.
What
it
other?
was because I just used to walk around with him at first, and then he said, well, "Why don't you take it up?"
Yes.
And I went and had lessons with our old pro Jim Walker.
Yeah.
So that's how I started off.
Did Stan used to get annoyed if you beat him?
No, he was all right.
He's good. Yeah, he's
No.
good. Yeah.
Not at all.
What other things did you get up to apart from golf?
Together.
Mm.
Not a lot because we were both working.
When you retired, what did you do after that?
And then of course I went to Birmingham School of Music,
Mm-hmm.
and that was 1984. No, that was when I was captain. 1970, Birmingham School of Music, and they used to take me down to the railway station every morning, catch the 7:30 train to
Crikey.
Birmingham.
That was a long trip, wasn't it? Into New Street, was it?
To New Street. The School of Music then was only just up the road, but it's moved twice since then. And
And what were you doing? Were you studying or were you teaching?
I was studying.
You're studying. Right.
Yeah, that was when I got my ABSM, Associated the School, Birmingham ABSM.
Yeah.
I got that right.
Associate of the Birmingham School of Music.
That's
Yes.
right.
And that what then qualified you to teach other people? didn't
That's
it?
right. Yeah, it did.
Mm.
Yeah, and then of course I went to Shrewsbury School. I started off with 4 boys who were in the 6th form, and I met John. I've forgotten his surname now. I met John at a music do, And he said to me, if he ever got any spare pupils, he'd let me know.
Mm.
So he let me know, and I got these 4 boys on a Thursday morning, because sixth formers used to have the Thursday morning off.
Right.
So that was nice start there.
Yeah.
And I was there then for my pupils grew, and I was there for 13 years.
Right.
It's a long time, wasn't it?
It was.
Yeah.
And you used to have private pupils up at Armoury Gardens as well?
Yeah, I did. Yeah, I had quite a lot there. I always gave myself Wednesday off because that was ladies' day at the golf club.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it sounds like you had a good time.
Oh yeah.
And when you moved out to Ponsbury, did you carry on?
Pulverbatch.
Sorry, Pulverbatch. Why do I keep saying Ponsbury? Pulverbatch. Did you carry on taking pupils there or not?
Well, but just by accident, we were going down to. I joined the WI to get to know the ladies in the village, and this lady who was 2 doors away from me, Jean Hartshorn, and she said, "I see you going out to work every morning, Thelma." I said, "Yeah." "Where do you work?" I said, "Shrewsbury School." And she just thought I was a secretary there. And I said, "No, I teach music." Well, of course, that was it then.
Yes.
I had to take her 2 children.
Oh, good. Oh, wow.
I didn't really want to, but there we are.
Well, it's a good way to get involved
Well,
in
yeah,
the village, isn't
yeah.
it? And you got involved with the church there as well?
Then I used to go to the church, and there was a lady, Kate Thorne. She was all right, but when she was on holiday, this other woman used to try to play, and she was dreadful. She really was dreadful. And then one day, Kate found that I taught piano, so her boy came to me, and she said, "When I go on holiday next, do you think you could play?"
Yeah.
So that was when I started.
Right.
I used to deputise for Kate, and it was lovely because one year they were away for Christmas. Well, they always went away in January.
Yeah.
Their daughter lived in New Zealand, but this one year they went for Christmas, and I was so thrilled. I'd been dying to play for Christmas carols,
Yes, I bet.
so I got that. That was lovely.
Was it an organ or the piano?
Organ.
Organ. Oh wow.
Yeah, the organ.
Did you do the feet as well?
Yeah.
Wow, that's a
Just the odd one, because when you were at Shrewsbury at Birmingham,
yeah.
you always took on other pupils, and one of the lads took me on because he wanted to teach organ anyway.
Yes.
So I started learning with him,
It's
which upset my piano teacher because she said, "It'll spoil your touch." The silly old.
well, I have to say it's such a skill. And do you have to adjust all the stoppers?
Well, up to pull the back, we've only got 5 stops.
Oh
anyway,
right, okay.
So that's okay.
But it's still enough, isn't it, to think about?
Well, that's
Yeah.
right. And on the odd, I usually do the odd first fill.
And how many keyboards did it have? Just the one, or?
I'm just trying to think. Do you know, I can't remember.
Because I remember in Oswald Street, where I used to sing in the choir,
Yeah,
they had an enormous organ there for for a parish church.
Yeah.
I mean, it was a decent sized church. I guess you could sit about.
probably about three keyboards.
Yeah, it had 3 keyboards and it had about
Yeah.
25 stoppers.
Well, you'd
and-
have so many
yeah,
stops for each
yeah.
keyboard.
Yeah,
Some on the left, some on the right.
yeah.
The bass and the treble.
That was amazing. I bet, I don't know if you can remember when I got married to Carol, we got married in Hanwood Church, or
Yes.
Annan Church, and the organist was awful.
I've played that organ.
Have you?
Yeah.
Was it the organ or was it the organist? I
It-
don't.
There was the organ. You had to go up this. Nobody told me.
Yes.
You had to go up a flight of steps
Yeah,
and held onto a rope handle.
yeah.
But nobody told me that when you opened the door, there was a drop about that much.
Oh,
The first time I went up to practice,
yeah.
I fell down into this great hole, and I was played for a wedding there
Yeah.
once, and the thing was only about this high. You used to look down into the church,
Yes.
and
It was quite a cute little church, but yeah, the organist, when at our wedding, I don't know if he'd been drinking or what, but I remember walking out and I thought, I can't even work out what he's playing. It's not what we asked for. It doesn't matter. But So you played at the church for how many years do you think you played at the church in
Pulverbatch,
Pulverbatch? Yeah.
quite a long, because we've lived there since 1990, haven't we?
Mm.
So when Kate found I could play piano, anyway, and then the organ a bit, I suppose quite a long time. 20 years?
Yes.
Could be.
Presumably the organ, it does have a different feel to a piano in
Yes.
that sense, yeah.
Um,
You don't get the same.
yeah, you have to hold the keys down.
Yeah. You can't just
to
touch
get the
it.
sound
Yes, yeah.
all going. Yeah.
But equally,
And up above it, on our organ, there was 2 flaps,
yeah.
which opened and closed, and you did that with your feet.
So was that the sort of overall volume, or was that?
And it was just to, I suppose it was for volume
Yeah.
as much as anything. Yeah.
Did you used to have a big sort of mirror so you could see what was going on behind you?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I did. Watch out for the vicar coming down
Yes.
you.
I know, because when I used to sing in the choir in Oswestry, the choir master was also the organist,
Yeah.
and you could see he was playing away, and you could see him looking in the mirror. You know, he's not looking at anything, and he's just keeping an eye on the choir boys.
Of course. You naughty lot.
Yes, you could just see him staring. But
Yeah, I used to play as well at St Albans.
that's a big church, isn't it?
When they did Holy Communion,
Yes.
I used to play for that service once a month,
Yes.
because the vicar found out I could play the organ.
What was it? Was this when you were little? When you were?
No,
This...
Fry used to come in from Pulverbatch.
Oh right, okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, I mean, you've had such a relationship with St Albans Church all your life, haven't you?
Yeah.